Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Ross Meets. Now, this is a huge interview that is yet to see the light of day until now, and I'm so happy that it's finally coming out because it's such a great interview. This one's with Dimitri Vegas, and he's brilliant. This was one of the interviews that I was absolutely terrified about. Now, we made the journey up to Stoke. I live quite far away from Stoke, so obviously I get the train, and this was when all the train strikes were going on, so we drove up about hour and a half, 2 hours, and the whole journey I was panicking. It was one of those where it was like, everything needs to just go well, but you just can't believe that it's gonna go well. It was one of them. Everything was very rushed on the day, and just it was quite stressful. But the minute that I got in to the interview and the minute that I started talking to Dimitri, I was calm. He had such a calming presence and was just such a natural. It was amazing. It was really nice being around someone like that who could just completely calm my nerves. And I asked him everything that I wanted to ask him, and it was fabulous. He gave some really brilliant answers. We didn't have too long with each other, but we really made some ground, and it was so interesting to hear about his collaborations, hear about the people he's worked with, hear about his experiences. And for a 10-minute interview, we really did cover a lot of ground, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. I must have spoke about 1 billion miles an hour, but I put that down to the nerves. Listening back, I was like, wow, I was talking quick, but I'm putting that down to the nerves. But yeah, he's a very special artist, very fabulous live performer, absolutely insane. I don't know whether anyone's had a chance to catch his sets this summer. It was brilliant. The Tomorrowland stuff, just on another level. Epic visuals, music, the whole package you get with these guys. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, and such an eye-opening interview as well. You don't really hear from DJs in interviews, but because they see such a different side of the music industry with how they create music and what they do. It's probably a totally different process to what we're used to with the interviews that I've done, so far, and the people we've heard from so far. But this one is really, it really is an interesting interview.
Here we
Oh,
are.
hello, I can see you. You okay?
I'm good, and you?
That's good. Oh, I'm great. If I sound a bit out of breath, I am. I've just been having a bit of a run around this place,
Ah, okay,
trying to
no
get
worries, no
everything
worries, no
sorted.
worries.
But it's really good to see ya. How are
Likewise,
you
my
doing?
man.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
Couple of
good.
days, couple of days in Belgium before leaving for Ibiza, and the summer madness starts.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a really busy day today as well, and it all sounds so exciting. It all sounds so good. So I'm going to try and not take up too much of your guys' time and make it very quick. And I'm just going to throw some questions your way. Are you ready?
Sure.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so we've got Mexico with Dana and Neo. What are some of the inspirations and influences that you've put into that, Dimitri?
Well, for us, like Mexico is one of the most important countries for our career. Like I think it was like the first or the second country outside of Belgium we ever DJ'd, and we immediately really got embraced by the Mexican crowd, and it just felt right to do something special for that, and we wanted to make it really authentic. So we had an authentic mariachi band play the music, a part of the music. Obviously, we have Dana there, who is one of the biggest Mexican artists around, and then we always wanted to do something with Neo again, and that just felt like the right combination.
Yeah, I mean it's such a good mix, and it's just been such a great product coming out of it. It's just so good, such a good song.
Thank you.
Really good, a great success for you guys, recently. And taking it back to the very start back in Belgium, what made you guys want to come into the music industry? What made you guys want to be creative in that field? And has the industry been what you were expecting it to be?
Like my dream of becoming a DJ started when I was about 12 years old, which is almost 30 years ago now, which is already crazy and scary to think about to start with. But back then, the world was different, like the biggest your dream could get was to be able to spin some records in one of the legendary clubs in Belgium. Like even thinking about DJing in Ibiza in the early 90s was already the most exotic it would go. There weren't any big concerts going on. Like I think the only one who was doing it, and then we were already at the end of the 90s, was Tiesto. So it's a very different world, and so my dream was just to be able to DJ, even if it was small parties and small clubs, and somehow it all got way bigger than we could have ever imagined because it just didn't exist.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think about that. I hadn't really realized that you guys have seen so much change throughout the industry and you've really grown into it and kind of evolved with it and moved forward with it and been open to kind of all these different opportunities. And it's all just gone your way so well. And you've stayed motivated through all that time. And what keeps you guys motivated?
Like I think it's a musical spark. Like I think the years, the COVID years were a bit weird. Before that, I think we were sort of on a high speed train that just goes forward, goes forward, goes forward, and you don't really see what's happening around you. And then all of a sudden the lockdown hits and you're like, oh, well, this is different. And it's actually not that bad that I actually have some time to relax. And who am I when I'm not a DJ? And when am I outside? And then you get on this sort of sidetrack thing where you want to do a bunch of other stuff. Like and I'm still loving it. Like I did a lot of acting and did a lot of side projects and writing and everything. And then everything starts moving again and you're like, whoa, 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 what's going on? What am I playing? Do people still want to hear what we played before COVID? Do we reinvent ourselves? What is going on? And I felt like last year for a lot of artists was sort of feeling who you are in this new world. And for us, I think really this year especially, we've really found what we are today and really reconnected with our roots and especially my roots in of the 90s sound and the faster hardcore techno kick bass kind of sound. I think the slowest record in our set right now is 135 bpm. So I feel like I've got a strong reconnection with my younger self. So I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah, exactly. And that's brilliant to hear, speaking about the reinvention and the journey over, quite a big sizable amount of time. And again, it's about having that connection with your audience as well, isn't it? I mean, it's like with the virus, it was really hard to have that connection and there was a bit of a struggle there. But do you find that you guys have got that connection to your audience and that you have that relatability nowadays and you can carry on with that through the music that you're producing?
I certainly hope so. I think like we're none of us are getting younger, that's for sure. But if you look at David, I think David is busier and hotter than he's ever been. Like he for sure is a big example and a big inspiration on how to always be ahead of the game. And I think like it's great to see how the new generation all of a sudden is embracing these 90s ravey sounds, and you can see everywhere. Like when you've been around as long as we have, you see everything like going in cycles. And again, it's funny and scary at the same time where you're like, oh shit, well, how is this coming back? It's crazy.
Yeah, I get yeah, and it's something that we're seeing a lot nowadays, especially in this genre of music, with the samples, the use of samples and the continuation of that. We're seeing it with a lot of big artists right now, and it's been really successful for them. And it's like you say, everything's going in kind of
Yeah,
like
but for me, the big
cycles.
difference is now also it's okay, using samples is one thing. That is not something that is new. But the fact that we're now making new music sounding like it was made in the 90s, not with a sample per se, I find very, very refreshing.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. I'm really glad you said that. And you guys have had such great opportunities and been able to collaborate with some really, really big musicians, big artists. What to you has been your favorite moment with these artists? What's been your favorite collaboration?
Ooh,
I
that's
mean, that is a bit of a tough question. That is a bit
yeah,
hard.
yeah. I think our collaborations with David have always been epic, we've been working on some new stuff, so there might be a surprise coming soon. Uh, but yeah, no, I think been so happy and grateful to be able to work with so many great people. So it's hard to pick my favorite one, but I can say that we are working on a lot of new stuff. So we're ready to announce something very exciting. So it's been studio time nonstop for the past months.
Brilliant. I mean, that's really, really good to hear as well that new stuff's coming. And, we're in a very exciting time for music with all kinds of different releases going on, especially in this genre as well. And we've had a few physical releases from you guys, like CDs and a few vinyls. Is that something that you guys have got on the radar as well? I mean, artists nowadays, vinyl's back, CDs are back. Is that something you guys going to
Definitely.
want to do soon?
Definitely. I think it's really fun, and I really support the fact that people still again want a little bit of ownership when it comes to music. Like I think streaming is great. It's a whole new world, and it definitely has its advantages. But I think, like when I used to grow up, like and I heard a song in a club, I'd have to like lean over the DJ booth and try and get a glance at the label of the record, and then, or I'd had to go to the record shop and try to weirdly sing the melody, and then the guy'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's that one. I can order it for you." And then you'd have to wait for 4 to 6 weeks before you had the record. You had to pay your whole allowance to get the record, but still you loved that record. I still, even today, like in the back here, there's thousands of records here in a cupboard. Most of them I can still recognize immediately by taking out the cover, and I know what song it is. Like the connection there,
Yeah.
connection that we had with music. And I think that's why people remember songs from the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, even the early 2000s way more than they do today, is because somehow we had a stronger connection with them, I think.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Really, really good to hear. And it's about that having that connection as well. And there is more of a connection with that kind of like physical side. And, just keeping an eye on the clock and kind of wrapping up now. Have you got any advice for kind of like younger people starting out in the industry, maybe want to be a DJ? Have you got any final advice for those people out there?
Like the world constantly changes, like in the 30 years that I've been doing this, like every time you think you figured it out, the whole game changes. Like even today with TikTok and everything, like it's totally different. The only thing that always stays relevant and stays true is in my opinion, be persistent. All the rest is good advice, and there's a lot that comes to it. But whatever it is that you're doing, and never give up. I was 30 by the time I got popular, so that means I was almost 18 years in my journey before we even start getting remotely popular. And there's been many times that I felt like that family or friends or everybody was saying like, "Hey, it's time to grow up, let it go." And then there were moments that you thought you had it and then you didn't. But like there's no guarantee that you will make it if you're persistent, but there is an absolute guarantee that you're not going to make it if you're not. So for me, persistence trumps talent even. So yeah, there you go.
That's brilliant, Dimitri. Thank you ever so much for the opportunity and give me the opportunity to talk to you guys about some of the influences and all, everything that's been going on. It's really, really good to chat to you, and I'm really super excited to get this out over in Stoke. And yeah, it's just going to be brilliant.
Cool. I mean, I'm excited for summer. I think we have a lot of new music to bring. I'm preparing a lot of new stuff for our opening party in Ibiza because we're back in Ushuaia every Wednesday. So yeah, hope to see you there.